Brothers of the KBH. Just have to make a few comments. I've been on YouTube for a couple hours here, looking at the wealth of material that is anti-pornography and exposes some of the things that I've only understood perhaps through meditation or through intuition. And that is that the people seen in pornography are trafficked, and that they are obviously not using their real names. The directors, of course, are not using their real names. There's even a Jewish one named Seymour Butts. He says that with a straight face. He's like, "Hi, I'm Seymour Butts," you know. But these are mafia guys, so they don't want to tell you what their real names are, and they traffic in human beings. And my impression is, looking at the comments, because these videos that are anti-porn are just getting bombed with pro-porn masturbators, wankers, coming in with the most foul language you can imagine. And you could tell they're addicts. They're severely afraid that somebody is going to take away this drug that they're using. And the mindset of an addict is just so extremely selfish. They talk about these women, and they can't see that these women are their own family. They can't see that if you're looking at somebody in a screen and they're doing something you wouldn't want your mother, your sister, or your daughters to be doing, then why is that? Why is it okay to use the daughters of other men, but then when it comes to your own daughter you say no, don't do that? I'm very offended at several of the documentaries. There's documentaries about the porn industry on YouTube. Some of them are semi-favorable to the industry, and you can see that they're making friends with the people in the video. Some of them are more neutral, and in any case you could see that there's so many of these people dying. It was a very large project at the KBH to come up with the names and some authentication of death for all of these porn people, and this is including all obituaries. So we roughly calculated that the lifespan of a porn stain would be 35 years old. I live in China. I take one look at this, and it's so clear what's going on, because China teaches you about conspiracies. China teaches you about groups of people getting together to do bad things. Also teaches you about how someone might think if they're only thinking for profit and gratification, because there's a lot of people like that in China, and everyone in China is a conspiracy theorist. And it's taught me to look at this, cui bono, who is benefiting from this, what are they getting out of it? And this can include everything, not just money. And when it comes down to it, for a lot of very powerful people, money doesn't even matter. It's about power. It's about getting what you want when you want it. And like Meyer Lansky, he ran the underworld in the U.S. for I think 20-30 years. He was a Jewish mafia guy, and he officially he had $1. The joke is from The Simpsons, I think, and from a couple movies. Goodfellas, I think, was one where they kind of showed the perspective of a mafia guy going through society. He doesn't pay for anything. He doesn't need stupid money. Who cares? So don't come down and think that, conspiracy theorist is just talking about people going after money. That's not necessarily what we're looking at. But it's very apparent. It's very apparent what's going on. First of all, if the agents have to give a cut to the actors, according to one actor, they only give 10-20% to the agent. And that's for all the sales on these porn movies. How do you get that 80-90%? Well, the next day you read the paper and it says porn star X died of a drug overdose. Now that's a funny one, isn't it? I mean, I remember when I was in high school and there are these people that come in and they say, don't do drugs, they'll kill you. You'll die the very instant you try them. And part of the discrediting of the education system is that they don't have a realistic understanding of what using drugs means. Using drugs, erodes your conscious efforts. It burns up a lot of this good karma that you stored up, and now it's just burning away. But it's not like, boom, I take drugs, I'm going to die. People need to understand that. If you tell your kids that, then when they finally do try something, they're not going to believe you. They're going to say, Dad, they're thinking in their head, you told me I was going to die if I tried weed. I'm not going to die, buddy, But even with heroin and such, there's a pretty clear line between what's too much, what's not, I would think. I don't have any experience. Don't start thinking that. But from what I read about the Kurt Cobain story, for example, it's a pretty clear line. What would be over, what would be under. And yeah, so that's why these get dubious. And when it gets dubious to the point where your average age of death is 35, and all these deaths are mysterious, well then, what do? You're going to have to see the pattern here, people, that it's dangerous to work in Hollywood in general. As just a regular actor, you'll get knocked off all the time for that. They want to take all of your proceeds. Michael Jackson did 20 or 30 concerts in 1 year. He was in great physical shape when he suddenly died of a mysterious drug reaction. And after he just said he didn't want to work for Jews anymore. Well, Michael, that might be a buzzword that could get you killed too. But that's, you say, Uncle Jeebers, you're a conspiracy theorist. You can't say that. You innocent white people. You should go live in an Asian country. Live in a place where people have conspiracies on a normal basis. And the average Joe just understands how a conspiracy works. Do you know this false flag operation in Chinese is called kuroji? 3 syllables. Kuroji. And the kuroji is written in the Sun Tzu Binfa, The Art of War. I don't know how many hundreds of years old that book is. And people read it generation after generation in China. And the reason why these people understand scams so much is because they're scamming. And white people are not out there scamming every day, at least not in the same way. And then this gives them this mindset that, well, it's impossible to scam. Nobody's scamming anything. Everything the government says is true. Don't say the word Jew, that's a bad word. You're a Nazi. Don't talk about the Chinese takeover. What, are you a conspiracy theorist? So it's funny, in the Chinese language they have no derogatory word for conspiracy theorists. It's not a derogatory word, it's a regular word. They don't even have the word conspiracy theorist. They have the word conspiracy theory, and the Chinese government's trying to get on the bandwagon, like, they should make this a derogatory word, and but Chinese just don't use it that way. And by the way, comrade in Chinese now means faggot. How did that happen? So you got to watch these connotations, because it means something in the practical world. How a word takes on connotations. Why that word became a bad word or a good word, it depends on how it was used and what influence it took. So I'm rambling. What I want to say to these people who are running porn harms, also the conservative female bloggers out there, you're beautiful. You got the long hair. You're covering up properly. I say you truly are, by American standards, modest women. You could not use makeup. That would make you more credible, especially you, Shelley Lubin. Come on. Don't cake yourself up with, wear tight clothes. Don't do that. You're saying you're anti-porn, exploitation, but you're jumping out there and you're looking a little bit skanky. I mean, I love you. If I met you, I would give you a big hug. I love Shelley Lubin. But Shelley, come on. You have to see this. I know you've made it halfway. You're not doing the horrible movies anymore, but to get that real credibility, we're going to have to get rid of the makeup and the tight clothes, and the sexiness is going to have to stop. Just saw a wonderful video from somebody, anti-cosmo. Cosmopolitan is a pornographic story magazine. Graphic stories on how to do this or that sex act, and kids can open it up and read it. This woman was complaining, and she's properly dressed, long hair, looking great, but still the makeup. It's just the wrong twist you should have if you're running a real campaign for cleanliness, for purity, for all of that. And they keep talking about the wrongs of exploitation of women. But I'm asking all of you women to start taking circumcision statistics. Fine, you found these sex traffickers, you found all of these wankers on the internet using the child pornography. Can we get a statistic on what percentage of those men are circumcised? Because women, a rape by a circumcised man is not a rape. A penis missing half of its stuff, most of its nerves, half of the skin, it's not a penis. And the philosophical reality of that is, if we, society, harm men in such an egregious way, when they come back at us and they start to do these things like something that looks like rape or something that looks like a porn movie, all the actors in porn movies are crimped. When they do those things, their sin is a lot less. They're reacting to what we did to them. They're reacting to what their mother, what society did to them. It's messed up, girls, but if you're pro-circumcision and a circumcised guy gets on top of you and you don't want it, it's not rape. You're not going to get any sympathy from us men if you say it's okay to generally mutilate us, but then you complain about porn on the airplane. I complain about that stuff too. I support you girls. Wish you would tack on the circumcision issue, join up with some of us intactivists and pro-celibacy people to boot. And working together, we've got power with that. And I hope you address these issues in future videos. Thank you, everybody, and Om. This is some of the things that I've only understood perhaps through meditation or through intuition. And that is that the people seen in pornography are trafficked. Mafia guys, so they don't want to tell you what their real names are, and they traffic in human beings. And my impression is, looking at the comments, because these videos that are anti-porn are just getting bombed with, and that they are obviously not using their real names. The directors, of course, are not using their real names. There's even a Jewish one named Seymour Butts. He says that with a straight face. He's like, "Hi, I'm Seymour Butts," you know. But these are pro-porn masturbators, wankers, coming in with the most foul language you can imagine. And you could tell they're addicts. They're severely afraid that somebody is going to take away this drug. Om, brothers of the KBH. Just have to make a few comments. I've been on YouTube for a couple hours here, looking at the wealth of material that is anti-pornography and exposed